Zen is not a particular state, but the normal state. Silent, peaceful, unagitated. D.T. Suzuki. Zen is a liberation from time. For if we open our eyes and see clearly, it becomes obvious that there is no other time than this instant, and that the past and the future are abstractions without any concrete reality. Alan Watts. Zen is not a philosophy, it is the art of living fully in the present moment. Thich Nhat Hanh. In a small village, nestled among the hills of ancient Japan, a curious scholar named Hiroshi sought to understand the Zen concept of the illusory self. Determined to grasp this elusive idea, he traveled to a nearby monastery to meet with a revered Zen master, Master Daisuke. Upon arriving at the monastery, Hiroshi was led into the garden where Master Daisuke sat calmly by a tranquil pond. Hiroshi bowed respectfully and asked, "Master Daisuke, I seek to understand the Zen teaching of the illusory self. Can you help me understand this?" The master silently picked up a stone and threw it into the pond, creating ripples that spread outwards, disturbing the previously calm surface. Master Daisuke then spoke. "The stone, like our notion of self, disrupts the calm water, creating the illusion of separate entities, each ripple distinct from the other. However, the ripples are merely temporary disturbances, part of the water, not separate from it. So too the self we perceive is like these ripples in the water of existence, a temporary formation that gives the illusion of separation from the whole. Yet we are not separate entities, but part of the larger reality, the water." With that, the master rose and walked away, leaving Hiroshi to contemplate the ripples, slowly fading into the calm unity of the pond. The word Zen comes from the Sanskrit term dhyana, which means meditation. Zen Buddhism emphasizes direct experience and intuitive understanding rather than relying solely on scripture or intellectual knowledge. Its practitioners seek to awaken to the true nature of reality through meditation and mindfulness. Zen teachings often employ paradoxical language and methods to challenge conceptual thinking and invite direct insight into the nature of existence. Zen made significant inroads into Western consciousness in the late 19th and early 20th century, largely due to the work of D.T. Suzuki, a Japanese author and translator. Suzuki's writings on Zen Buddhism, as well as his translations of crucial Zen texts, had a profound influence on Western intellectuals and artists. During the mid-20th century, there was an increasing number of Zen teachers arriving in the West from Japan and Korea, contributing to Zen's spread by establishing communities and meditation centers. This period also witnessed a surge of interest in Eastern philosophy and spirituality, partly because of countercultural movements such as the Beat Generation. Zen Buddhism's influences can be seen across many facets of Western culture, from psychology and mindfulness practices to art and literature. But what is Zen? How is it practiced? And what exactly is the enlightened state that it is said that it leads to? The two main schools of Zen Buddhism are Soto Zen and Rinzai Zen. However, there are other more minor schools as well, which often combine elements of Soto and Rinzai Zen, such as Obaku Zen, which combines elements of Soto and Rinzai Zen and incorporates aspects of Chinese Pure Land Buddhism. Sambo Kyodan, which integrates Soto and Rinzai Zen practices, emphasizing Zazen and koan study. Fuke Zen, which focuses on playing the shakuhachi flute as a means of awakening. Hakuin Zen is a reform movement within Rinzai Zen, emphasizing koan practice and direct experience. The Harada Yasutani school, which combines Rinzai and Soto Zen approaches, emphasizing Zazen, koan study, and direct transmission. The White Plama Sangha, found by Taizan Maizumi, blends Soto and Rinzai influences, emphasizing Zazen and mindfulness in action. All of these schools reflect the vast diversity to be found within Zen Buddhism. However, it is the two main schools, Soto and Rinzai, that have the majority of adherents and which have spread their influence to other countries beyond China and Japan. Both Soto and Rinzai Zen are branches of Zen Buddhism that originated in China and were later transported to Japan. They share many core principles such as an emphasis on meditation, or Zazen, and the achieving of Satori, or enlightenment, though they often interpret the practice of meditation and enlightenment in different ways. Both schools recommend direct experience over theoretical knowledge, value simplicity and spontaneity, and are closely associated with mindfulness practices. Both schools encourage the practice of the arts as expressions of the depth of one's realization, including poetry, martial arts, archery, pottery, and painting. They also share the central Buddhist teachings of the Four Noble Truths and the Eightfold Path. 1. The truth of suffering, Dukkha. This truth posits that life, as it is typically lived and experienced, is permeated with suffering. This suffering can manifest in various forms, such as physical pain, sadness, dissatisfaction, and the inherent unsatisfactoriness of temporary states. 2. The truth of the origin of suffering, Samudaya. This truth refers to the cause of suffering. According to Buddhism, the primary cause of suffering is desire or craving. 3. The truth of the cessation of suffering, Nirodha. This truth suggests that it is possible to end suffering. The cessation of suffering is achieved through the complete relinquishment of craving, leading to a state of liberation known as nirvana. 4. The truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering, Magga. This truth is essentially the Buddha's prescription for ending suffering. It is often referred to as the Noble Eightfold Path and consists of right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Although Rinzai and Soto are two of the main schools of Zen Buddhism and share a fundamental focus on meditation and insight, they do have their own distinct approaches. Rinzai Zen makes use of koans, paradoxical anecdotes or riddles, used to demonstrate the inadequacy of logical reasoning and provoke enlightenment. The teacher-student relationship is central in Rinzai Zen, with teachers often using direct, even confrontational methods to push students toward realization and enlightenment. In addition, Rinzai Zen tends to place a greater emphasis on vigorous and rigorous training. Rinzai Zen is often associated with a samurai class in Japan. Some practitioners of Rinzai Zen also engage in practices such as chanting and brush painting as a means of expressing the depth of their awakening. Once upon a time, a Zen master noticed a young student struggling with his meditations, lost in an ocean of thoughts. Recognizing the need for a unique approach, the master presented the student with a koan. What is the sound of one hand clapping? The student pondered, trying to rationalize the irrational, and days turned into weeks of silent contemplation. One day, while the student sat beneath a blossoming cherry tree, a single petal fell onto his open palm. The silence of the moment struck him more profoundly than any clap ever could, and in the quietude he grasped the sound of one hand clapping. The koan, like a seed sown in the fertile soil of his mind, had finally bloomed into enlightenment, dispelling the cloud of confusion and illuminating the emptiness of all things, including the self. His gaze turned to the master, who nodded in affirmation, acknowledging the dawn of awakening in his student's eyes. Soto Zen puts more focus on seated meditation, or zazen, and mindfulness in daily life. Rather than using koans as the primary means of practice, Soto Zen focuses on shikantaza, or just sitting. Shikantaza is a form of objectless meditation where practitioners are instructed to be aware of the totality of their experiences without trying to manipulate or control them. The heart of shikantaza is just sitting. It is the practice of fully inhabiting this very moment, this very place, just as it is. It is not a means to an end, but an end in itself. As Dogen Zenji, born 1200 AD, the founder of Soto Zen, said, "There is no way of doing shikantaza incorrectly. Just sit. Whatever happens is the meditation." Begin by sitting comfortably on a chair or on a cushion. Maintain an upright posture with your spine straight, yet not tense. The chin is slightly tucked in, aligning your head with your spine. Your eyes should be half closed, softly gazing at a point on the floor a few feet in front of you. Breathe naturally through the nose. Let your breath flow in and out smoothly and effortlessly. Mindfulness. Bring awareness to your posture and breathing. Notice the sensation of breath moving in and out of your body. Notice the feel of your body sitting, the contact of your body with a cushion or floor. As thoughts arise in your mind, do not attach to them. Do not engage or suppress them. Simply acknowledge their presence and let them pass like clouds in the sky. In shikantaza, there is no separation between the one who meditates and meditation itself. You are not trying to get somewhere or achieving something. You are simply being present, sitting in the midst of your life as it is. Soto Zen is often seen as more gentle or quiet compared to Rinzai, and it is traditionally associated with the common people in Japan. Dogen Zenji taught that practice and enlightenment are one and the same. This unique understanding challenged the established belief of not only Zen schools, but also other spiritual traditions that enlightenment was a state to be attained. Dogen came to this conclusion after many, many years of meditation practice, and after a profound struggle with one question: if, as the Buddha taught, all beings are already enlightened, why must we practice? Dogen eventually came to understand that all beings are indeed inherently enlightened, and that enlightenment was not a state to be attained. However, inherent enlightenment was not a static state, rather it was an ongoing, dynamic process that could be embodied through the practice of shikantaza, or just sitting. With his meditation practice of shikantaza, Dogen affirmed his belief in the inseparability of practice and enlightenment. Dogen Zenji is also known for his extensive writing, including the Shobogenzo, a collection of 95 essays that remain a critical exposition of Zen philosophy and practice. Dogen's teachings continue to have a profound influence on Zen practice to this day. Hakuin e Kaku. Hakuin is often referred to as the reviver rather than the founder of Rinzai Zen Buddhism. This is because the Rinzai school was already established before Hakuin was born. However, Rinzai had fallen into a period of stagnation and decline, characterized by a lack of rigorous practice and an overemphasis on scholastic study and ceremonies. Hakuin revitalized the school by refocusing on the importance of meditation and koan study. Hakuin was also a prolific artist and calligrapher, and his works are considered an integral part of his Zen practice. Bodhidharma is traditionally regarded as the founder of Zen Buddhism, Chan Buddhism in China. Bodhidharma was a Buddhist monk who traveled from India to China in the 5th or 6th century. He is generally credited with establishing the physical and mental discipline that would become integral to Zen practice. Bodhidharma is famous for facing a wall in meditation for 9 years. Mazu Daoyi, also known as Baso, Mazu Daoyi was a Chinese Zen Buddhist monk who played a significant role in the development of Zen Buddhism during the Tang dynasty. He was known for his unconventional teaching methods, often using abrupt and shocking actions to awaken his students to their true nature. He taught the concept of ordinary mind is the way, implying that enlightenment is not something to be sought after, but is our always already natural and inherent state. Huangbo Shiyun. Huangbo Shiyun was renowned for his teachings on the concept of the one mind, which sees all existence as a manifestation of a single universal mind. He challenged dualistic thinking and urged students to realize their inherent Buddha nature directly, rather than through intellectual understanding or accumulation of knowledge. Shunryu Suzuki. A 20th century Zen master, Shunryu Suzuki was instrumental in popularizing Zen Buddhism in the United States. Born in Japan, he moved to San Francisco in 1959, where he founded the San Francisco Zen Center. His accessible, informal teaching style and his book, Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, have had a significant influence on American Zen practice. He taught that one should maintain a beginner's mind, an attitude of openness and eagerness in all aspects of life. Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh was a Vietnamese Zen Buddhist monk, peace activist, and founder of the Plum Village tradition. Known for his teachings on mindfulness and peace, he played a crucial role in introducing mindfulness to the Western world. Thich Nhat Hanh was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize by Martin Luther King Jr. for his peace activism during the Vietnam War. His numerous books and talks have made Zen teachings accessible to a global audience, teaching mindfulness, compassion, and engaged Buddhism, a practice that applies Buddhist principles to social and political activism. The spread of Zen Buddhism to America and other Western countries can be attributed to the growing interest in Eastern philosophies and spiritual practices during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Zen gained prominence in the West through the efforts of Japanese Zen masters like D.T. Suzuki, who introduced Zen teachings to the Western audience through his books and lectures. The influence of Zen on artists, writers, and intellectuals in the West was profound. The Beat Generation, a group of American writers in the 1950s and 1960s, including figures like Jack Kerouac and Allen Ginsberg, found inspiration in Zen Buddhism's spontaneity, mindfulness, and direct experience. One notable figure whose art and music were deeply influenced by Zen Buddhism was John Cage. Cage, an influential American composer, embraced Zen philosophy and incorporated its principles into his compositions. Cage explored the concept of Buddhism emptiness via silence and the dwelling in the present moment. Cage's most famous piece, 4 minutes and 33 seconds, challenges the conventional notions of music by consisting only of 4 minutes and 33 seconds of silence while the pianist sits without playing. Cage's artistic approach, guided by Zen principles, revolutionized not only the understanding of music, but also the boundaries of artistic expression. Alan Watts was a British philosopher, writer, and speaker known during the 1960s for his profound insights into Zen Buddhism and Eastern philosophy. Watts wrote numerous influential books on Zen, including The Way of Zen, where he introduced Zen concepts to Western readers, blending Eastern wisdom with Western psychology and philosophy. In his work, such as Zen and the Best Way and The Spirit of Zen, Watts explored the intersections of Zen with modern Western culture, offering fresh perspectives on spirituality, freedom, and the art of living. With his engaging style and ability to bridge the gap between Eastern and Western thought, Alan Watts became an instrumental figure in introducing Zen philosophy to a wider audience and inspiring a new generation of Zen practitioners. The Beat generation, a countercultural literary movement that emerged in the 1950s, also played a significant role in popularizing Zen Buddhism in America. The Beats viewed Zen as a means of breaking free from the constraints of society and exploring alternative modes of existence. The Beats incorporated Zen ideas into their writings, blending them with their own experiences and observations on American culture. The fusion of Zen Buddhism and the Beat lifestyle came to be known as Beat Buddhism or Beat Zen. Alan Watts' reaction to Beat Buddhism was complex. He greatly appreciated the Beats' enthusiasm for Zen and their efforts to incorporate it into their lives and art. However, he also criticized their tendency to romanticize Zen without fully understanding its depth and complexity. Watts believed that true understanding of Zen required diligent practice and direct experience, rather than simply adopting an exotic facade. Nonetheless, Watts recognized the Beats' contribution in bringing Zen Buddhism to the forefront of Western consciousness and sparking interest in Eastern spirituality, an interest that continues in the West to this day. These 5 books are classic introductions to Zen Buddhism. 1. Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by Shunryu Suzuki. This influential book offers profound insights into the practice of Zen Buddhism, the importance of maintaining a beginner's mind, and approaching each moment with openness and curiosity. 2. The 3 Pillars of Zen by Philip Kapleau. A comprehensive guide to Zen practice, this book combines practical instruction with personal accounts of Zen masters and students. It explores the pillars of Zen, ethical conduct, meditation, and wisdom, providing a valuable resource for beginners and experienced practitioners alike. 3. Zen Flesh, Zen Bones, compiled by Paul Rebs and Nyogen Senzaki, a collection of Zen stories, koans, and Zen teachings. This book offers glimpses into the depths and wisdom of Zen Buddhism. It invites readers to contemplate and reflect on the nature of reality and the self. 4. The Heart of the Buddha's Teaching by Thich Nhat Hanh. This book presents the core teachings of Buddhism in a clear and accessible manner. It explores fundamental concepts such as mindfulness, interdependence, and the 4 Noble Truths, providing valuable guidance for those seeking a deeper understanding of Buddhism. 5. Zen in the Art of Archery by Eugene Herrigel. This classic work recounts the author's experiences studying Kyudo, the Japanese art of archery, under a Zen master. Through the pursuit of archery, Herrigel explores the nature of Zen practice and the importance of spontaneity, non-attachment, and the unity of body and mind. Zen Buddhism highlights the importance of direct experience and intuitive comprehension achieved through meditation and mindfulness. The 2 primary schools of Zen, Soto and Rinzai, uphold fundamental principles like meditation and enlightenment, but they vary in their practices. Zen has now extended its influence to the Western world, leaving an imprint on diverse aspects of Western culture, including psychology, mindfulness techniques, and artistic expression.